Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. The first book on this list is called Bruised. This story is a YA contemporary following a young South Asian sapphic main character as she tries out roller derby for the first time, and there's a trigger warning on the story for self-harm. This story is really good, and it definitely exceeded my lower expectations, and I ended up rating it 4 stars, so with that I would highly recommend it. The plot was so intriguing and absolutely so engaging. The sapphic romance was so cute, so well paced, and it made so much sense because their connection and chemistry was absolutely so lovely and so authentic. The friendships made so much sense, and the roller derby elements made the story so much more vibrant and so vivid because those scenes were so well done and the characters were so well developed and so distinct. This book is absolutely so fantastic and it's so underrated. So anyway, with all that said, like I said, I rated the story 4 out of 5 stars and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called If You Could See the Sun. This story is a YA contemporary fantasy that follows a young Asian main character who monetizes her new invisibility power by selling and discovering her wealthy classmates' secrets. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but basically this story is so good and I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to really enjoy this book because first of all, the first time that I read this book, I actually DNF'd it. And second of all, the romantic trope in this book is one of my least favorites, as I discovered last year. But in this book, it actually, the second time around, it made so much sense. Like, the romance was so cute. It was so well paced. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The main character's relationship with her parents hit so close to home. This book is so authentic, and it made so much sense. Literally, like, I really enjoyed this book. And there was never a point in time where I thought that her, like, invisibility powers felt too juvenile or anything like that, as I was expecting, you know what I mean? Like, this book was so good. I just really enjoyed it. So with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because it's definitely worth all of its hype and so much more. And with that said, I'm so excited for the author's next book, which I believe comes out in February. So anyway, all that to say, I would highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Ogress and the Orphans. This story is a middle-grade fantasy, and it follows an ogress whom the town doesn't trust, but the children do. And it's also about how a community suffers when love, generosity, and kindness disappear. I hope that makes sense. But basically, I really enjoy this book, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it, because honestly, it's one of the best books that I've read this year so far. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The world building was so immersive and absolutely so inventive. The characters were so well developed and so distinct, and all of the different character perspectives made it so much sense, and they really, like, made the story so good and so well done because they weaved together so well. This book is absolutely so good, and the topic surrounding kindness replacing evil is, like, so important, and it's so well done. You know what I mean? Like, this book is so good. It's really awesome. It's really touching. So with all that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Spells for Forgetting. This story is an adult urban fantasy about ancestral magic, an unsolved murder, and a second chance at true love. I know that that's the vaguest synopsis that I could have said, but I don't know how to summarize the Goodreads synopsis without spoiling everything for you. So there you have it. Honestly, I really enjoy this book, and I wasn't really expecting to because I don't usually love adult books because I find them to be, like, too hard to understand because they're too dense, because I'm too young for the tailored audience, you know what I mean? But I really enjoy this book. First of all of the different character perspectives made so much sense, and this book made me realize that I really enjoy stories that are, like, set in a town or a certain setting and centered around that, and also are about unsolved murders for some reason, just so that we can have all sorts of, like, community perspectives. I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically I'm always drawn to, like, books or TV shows with, like, a great cast of characters where we can see, like, all of their perspectives weave together on one common ground. I don't know if that made any sense at all, and I digress. But basically, the plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The romance made so much sense. And overall, I really enjoyed it because everything made so much sense. Even the magic system. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Sincerely Sicily. This story is a middle grade contemporary that follows a young Black Panamanian main character as she learns to use her voice and take pride in who she is. I really enjoy this book, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, as I did with all of the books on this list, if you haven't noticed. So with that, I would highly recommend it because, first of all, I really enjoyed learning about Afro-Latinx culture through the main character as she learns more and more about her own culture. Second of all, the plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The family dynamics were so authentic and so well done. The friendships were so lovely and so wonderful. And honestly, overall, I really enjoyed this book because it felt so wholesome and so educational without feeling preachy or anything like that, because it was also so enjoyable and so entertaining too. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but basically I really enjoyed this book. It was a great, solid debut. I will gladly read more from the author in the future, and with that said, I would highly recommend it because, like I said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book on this list is called The Well. This story is a YA fantasy graphic novel that follows a young girl who gets cursed by a wishing well and must grant 3 wishes in order to be set free. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. Whenever I start a really popular graphic novel, I'm always kind of afraid that I won't enjoy it as much as the general consensus. And also, I'm always hesitant that I'm going to really enjoy the art and the illustrations, but not the story itself. But with this book, first of all, this story is worth all of its hype and so much more. Second of all, the illustrations were so pretty and absolutely so vibrant. But the story itself was also so amazing and so well done because the plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The friendships and the romance and everything about those like platonic and romantic dynamics felt so well paced and so well done. This book is absolutely so good, and I really enjoyed it. And I would gladly read more from this author and from the illustrator too, because they were so talented. Anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Prince The Dressmaker. This book is another YA fantasy graphic novel, and it's definitely the most popular graphic novel recommendation that I received, and I'm so glad that this book lived up to those expectations, because honestly, if it didn't, I would have been really disappointed. But anyway, if you didn't know, this book follows a gender-fluid prince and the dressmaker, and it's so good. First of all, the illustrations were so pretty and so beautiful and absolutely so vibrant. Like, the illustrator deserves a raise. Like, this was so pretty, and it really made the story so much more immersive than it already was. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The 2 characters were both so well developed and so distinct, and I loved their friendship so much because it was so wholesome and so lovely. And the romance was also so well paced, and it literally made so much sense. This book deserves all of its hype and so much more. The queer representation was so great and so well done. This book is so good, and I definitely understand why everybody falls in love with it, because so did I. It's so good. Anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and with that said, I would highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, since I rated all the books on this list 4 out of 5 stars, I don't necessarily have a best or worst on this list, and I would highly recommend them all. So, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the spider emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!